I still don't like talking about that night. It was supposed to be a quick weekend getaway, just me, my wife, and the kids. We rented a cabin up in the mountains, completely off-grid, no cell signal, no Wi-Fi. Just nature. The first night was peaceful, crackling fireplace, the kids roasting marshmallows, stars overhead. But the second night, something changed. Around 2 a.m., my wife shook me awake. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. I listened, nothing. Then a soft knock. Not at the front door, the window. I got up, heart pounding, and peeked out. No one there. Just darkness. The trees swaying. I told myself it was a branch. Maybe a raccoon. I went back to bed. 10 minutes later, another knock. This time louder. Closer. My son came running into our room, terrified. "There's someone outside my window." I grabbed the flashlight and went out with the dog. The woods were still. Too still. I scanned the tree line, and that's when I saw it. Not a person. Not exactly. A pale face, low to the ground, watching me. Smiling. I ran inside, locked everything, and stayed up until daylight. When we packed up and left the next morning, my daughter asked, "Dad, who was that man playing in the woods last night?" We never went back. When we bought the house, it seemed like a steal. Quiet neighborhood, big yard, old stone foundation, exactly what we wanted. The seller seemed nervous, though. Kept saying things like, "You're sure you want this place?" He handed me the keys and muttered, "Keep the walls quiet." I laughed it off. The first week was uneventful, except for a weird humming sound at night. Not mechanical, more like someone singing way off tune, almost under their breath. It came from inside the walls. I assumed it was the pipes. Old houses make weird noises. I even tore open part of the living room drywall trying to find a loose duct or something. But nothing. The sound kept happening, always around 1:40 a.m. Never louder than a whisper. Then came the scratching. It started behind our headboard. Light at first. Then more desperate, like fingernails clawing. I pressed my ear to the wall one night, and I swear, I heard breathing. My wife wanted to leave for a few days, take the kids to her mom's. I said no, I needed to know what was in there. The night they left, I sat in the living room with a hammer, waiting. 1:40 came. The humming started again. This time I followed it. It wasn't coming from the vents, it was behind the bookshelf. I pushed the shelf aside, and there was a small door I'd never noticed. No knob, just a latch. I opened it slowly. Inside was a crawl space, maybe 5 feet deep. And in the back, a figure. Pale. Thin. Eyes wide open. Smiling. I slammed the door and bolted it shut. The next morning, I tore down that part of the wall and sealed it up with concrete. The house has been quiet since then. But sometimes around 1:40, the humming starts again, and the concrete vibrates. I was 13 when my older brother disappeared. It was the middle of winter, snow coming down heavy. He went out to get firewood from the shed and never came back. My parents called the cops. They searched for weeks. No prints, no blood, no signs. Just gone. We grieved. We moved on. Or we tried to. Exactly 9 months later, he came back. I woke up to the sound of someone knocking on the back door. My parents were asleep, so I crept down, heart pounding. And there he was, my brother. Same face. Same voice. But something was wrong. He was barefoot in the snow. Shirtless. No frostbite. No shivering. Just standing there like he'd been out for 5 minutes instead of missing for nearly a year. My mom screamed and cried and hugged him. My dad was in shock. They asked where he'd been. He just said, "I don't remember." We tried to live like things were normal. But they weren't. He didn't sleep, ever. I'd check on him at night, and he'd just be sitting up in bed, staring out the window. For hours. Every night. He stopped eating meat. Wouldn't touch it. Said it smelled wrong. And then there were the drawings. He filled up notebook after notebook with the same symbol over and over, a circle with a line through it, like an eye being crossed out. Sometimes he'd draw trees. Sometimes he'd draw us, always with the same symbol over our faces. One night, I woke up to him standing over my bed, just watching me, smiling. "Do you remember the shed?" he whispered. I didn't answer. "I do now," he said. The next morning, I checked the shed for the first time since he disappeared. It was ice cold inside. Empty, except for one thing. A small, perfectly round hole in the back wall. About the size of a dinner plate, carved into the wood. Smooth. And behind it, just blackness. Endless blackness. We moved out 2 weeks later. Haven't spoken to him since. He still sends me letters. Always the same message. It's not done with us yet.